It's finally here. Official trailer number 2 for Red Dead Redemption 2, and I watched this at least a bazillion times this morning. I tried to get all the screenshots. Hopefully I did. We're going to go over that in just a moment, and if there's anything I miss during my breakdown, feel free and leave it below in the comment section. And your thoughts as well regarding what you're thinking, what you're feeling regarding Red Dead Redemption 2, because we got a bit more information about the story. So the premise is the story of outlaw Arthur Morgan and the Vanderlyn gang. Of course, the head of the Vanderlyn gang is Dutch, and yes, we will see him in the trailer as they rob, fight, and steal their way across the vast and rugged heart of America in order to survive, coming spring 2018 to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. I have this article linked below in the description section, which includes, obviously, the trailer for you to watch yourself if you haven't done so already. And I also have the link to, I guess, the official Red Dead Redemption 2 page, rockstargames.com/Red Dead Redemption 2. And I looked, but there's really not much here, except for the new version of the logo. They changed it from a number 2 to Roman numerals 2. But it's interesting because it's still written out like this, but they just changed that. I mean, it looks cooler, I think, but it's still going to be officially known as Red Dead Redemption number 2 and not Roman numeral 2. I'm kind of a stickler for that sort of thing, so I don't know. It looks kind of cool. But they even changed the wallpaper from the number 2 to the Roman numeral 2. They got a couple of screenshots that they put out a few months ago. It still says that it's coming spring 2018, and you can pre-order. So you can select the country you wish to pre-order in. There's several countries you can choose from. Platform between PS4, Xbox One. Still no word on a PC version. Hopefully we'll be getting a PC version or news about a PC version maybe sometime after Red Dead Redemption 2 launches in spring 2018. And different retailers right now in the US include Rockstar Warehouse, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, Walmart, and there's probably different stores and retailers depending where you are. Like if you're in the UK, you also have Game, Shop2, Game Center, Granger Games to choose from, depending on where you wish to pre-order Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, so all this linked below in the description section. Let's get to it, shall we? The trailer breakdown. And like I said, once again, if there is anything that I miss, feel free and let me know below in the comment section. And we're going to have some speculation. Normally, I don't speculate, but since we have confirmed information, video that we're going to look at, there may be some leeway for speculation, for some theories. And if you have any, feel free and chime in below in the comments. So this is how the trailer opens up. A beautiful scene. And this is the main character, Arthur Morgan. And I'm going to go ahead and read some of the dialogue as well as we go along with the breakdown of the trailer. Now, this is absolutely beautiful. You see the mountains in the background. You see the sun coming up. Obviously, this is towards the east because that's where the sun rises, is from the east. You see some birds overhead. You see some grass, some bushes, some rocks, and a tent. So we're probably going to have the same ability like we had in Red Dead Redemption to set up camp anywhere throughout the map. So that's obviously coming back to Red Dead Redemption 2. And the horse looks beautiful, by the way. It's a white and brown horse. And I'm trying to see if there's anything that is hidden, like just peppered in the background. But it's just so beautiful just to look at it, just to sit here and stare in awe how far back it just goes from the plains to higher elevation all the way up into the mountains as far as the eye can see. And of course the clouds and the blue sky and the sun coming up. It's really, really majestic. All right, here's another scene of Arthur Morgan walking towards some smoke. And it looks like there's a house over there he's heading towards, forest as well, mountains in the background once again. You have a really cool look at what he's going to be about. And he approaches this one guy, and I think this is in a different spot. And this is what he says to him. "You got some money for me, boy?" And the guy's, of course, he was asleep, and he's really startled to see Arthur Morgan. It looks like he's kind of scared of him, too. And then, of course, Arthur Morgan's helping himself to whatever this guy was cooking, whether it's some soup or stew or whatever. Then, of course, he says to the guy, "I've seen your name in our ledger." So Arthur Morgan is not going to be like John Marston, where John Marston had kind of a conscience. He was kind of a white hat. it feels like Arthur Morgan is a black hat. Now, the difference between a white hat and a black hat cowboy is white hats were more like, they're more good guys. You know, maybe they weren't always good, but they had good morals. From the dialogue that's in the trailer regarding Arthur Morgan, he doesn't come across as a good guy, to be honest. But this is another beautiful shot. Of course, it says Rockstar Games Presents. And we'll take that away real quick. And I think that the guy on the horse is probably, once again, Arthur Morgan riding his horse. And it's just a beautiful shot, you know, from the edge of a mountain top all the way down into this valley. You see what appears to be kind of a river. It looks like it might be dried up a little bit. I mean, obviously it's a stream. I don't think it's a stream. I think it's too big to be a stream. But it doesn't look like it's a completely full river. So either this is just a river that doesn't have as much water in it, or maybe because of weather elements, maybe it fluctuates. Maybe, just maybe, like, you know, on certain days when it's drier, there's less water in the river, and when it's raining, maybe, just maybe, you know, it's, you know, there's a lot more water. It'd be kind of cool if, like, the environmentals work that way in Red Dead Redemption 2, but you can just stare off into the vast distance in this game, overlooking the forest, the river, heading towards, I guess, some plains in the far, like, right. It's just an absolutely beautiful shot right here, and that's just amazing to see how far video games have come. Next shot is, of course, Arthur Morgan walking into town, and this is obviously one of probably several towns that will have, big and small, in Red Dead Redemption 2. And look over here to the right, we have, looks like a gunsmith, and this is probably where you'll be able to, like, purchase weapons, ammo, maybe even some different weapon skins, maybe some upgrades as well. There's also a drugstore to the right, so I imagine there's going to be various stores that you'll be able to go into to get upgrades and probably even, like, buy and sell stuff as well, very similar to Red Dead Redemption. And in this scene, he is being talked to by some kid. It sounds like a kid or a young adult. We'll stick with young adult. A young adult tells him, "You're a wanted man, Mr. Morgan." And then it shows the church bell steeple ringing, and you see some birds flying overhead. And then you see a woman, like, mourning at a graveside. And it's basically insinuated by Arthur Morgan that he had something to do with why she's mourning, why she's in her black dress. So after he tells Arthur Morgan, "You're a wanted man," Arthur says this to him. And this is where you get a really feel and a vibe for what kind of person Arthur Morgan is. He says, "Maybe when your mother is finished mourning your father, I'll keep her in black on your behalf." So, yeah. He's not a good guy. And I don't know, that makes me even more excited to play as Arthur Morgan. I don't think he's going to be a straight up, you know, black hat, but he's definitely not going to be, you know, someone that you want to piss off, because I think he wouldn't, you know, really give it a second thought about murdering you nice and slow or fast, whatever mood he happens to be in. So there's probably going to be some speculation about this young man. Could he very well be John Marston? I don't know. I don't think he is. But then again, you never know, because I do believe that if you're going to have the Vanderlyn gang, if it's set previous to the events of Red Dead Redemption, set in the late 1800s, I do think that we're going to have to see a younger John Marston. Now, the question is that John Marston? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe it's someone else entirely. But it's kind of cool to see this image because you have some trees, obviously at this homestead. It looks beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Of course, that's a word you could describe for all of these scenes. And then I just love this shot. This is the image he has on his face, the look at this young man. You know, whenever he's giving him that vile threat about, you know, giving his mom a reason to continue wearing black. Obviously, you know, he's threatening the kid. He's like, "Look, you don't do what I tell you to do, or you keep talking like this, your mom's going to be mourning over someone else's grave." You know, hint, hint, wink, wink. So he does kind of look like a potential psychopath. Like, like he has like he's tough, he's mean, but he has like a weird sense of humor to him. And following that, we see the new Red Dead Redemption 2 logo with the numerals as opposed to the number 2. Moving on, we see this setup going on, this ambush in the woods at night with several other outlaws, including one Arthur Morgan, and it's pretty obvious what they're about to do. They're about to rob a train or conduct a train heist, and yeah, I feel sorry for the poor bastards on the train. I mean, these guys don't look like they're playing around. They look like they're serious about the job they're about to carry out. And then, of course, there's another scene here at a campsite where Arthur he's talking to somebody, probably some of his friends, some fellow members of Dutch's gang, about how we got lawmen in 3 different states after us. They chased us from the west. They chased us over the mountains. So obviously the law dogs are after Dutch's gang because I guess they already have a reputation by the time that the story of Red Dead Redemption 2 takes place. So you have Dutch out there. You have Arthur Morgan out there causing some problems, robbing, stealing, killing the way across the vast and rugged heart of America. And, lawmen don't really take kindly to outlaws doing that sort of thing. And here is I guess you could say, the result of the train robbery. Obviously, Arthur Morgan's gotten the conductor down on his knees, and they have managed to stop the train. It looks like they have like a horse in the back with a trailer. And that wagon will probably be what they put their ill-gotten gains on from whatever it is that they're after on the train. Most likely, I would say gold and silver. That's probably what's on the train. Gold, silver, maybe money. Yeah, those are things that they enjoyed, robbing from trains and banks. Outlaws, right? Early in the morning, obviously. Or I don't know if it's early in the morning or is it still at night? And it just happens to be moonlight that's shining through the fog overhead, over the trees. So, this is an interesting shot. So, it looked like from the other images we saw a moment ago that it was at night. But then again, it could be at dawn, right when the sun's about to break and come up. So, it could be at night. It could still be, early in the morning, right before the sun comes up. Or, that could simply be the moon coming up through the background, of this robbery. And then here it is. Obviously, I think this is probably another, morning shot of the sun coming up overhead. You see this hill. You see some men on horses, this very wicked-looking tree, which looks like a perfect tree for potentially, I don't know, hanging somebody. That branch is just asking for a rope and for somebody, whether they deserve it or not, to be hanged from it. That's just the vibe I'm getting from this really wicked, twisted tree. Like, part of it's still alive. You see this branch to the right still has leaves on it, and like the rest of it is dead. So I get the feeling there's some symbolism when it comes to this tree, along with the sun coming up and the mountains and the hills. There's just something going on here, and it's very cool and it's very eerie at the same time. And this is a beautiful shot right here of, I'm guessing, Arthur Morgan and some of his posse riding through the snow. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And it's just lovely. You see the snow falling. You see horse tracks in the snow. You see the trees covered with snow. You see nothing but snow. Snow for days. So just like in Red Dead Redemption, there's obviously going to be areas in the map that are going to have snow. I don't know if it's going to be like where, it's like a normal sunny day throughout the map, and then all of a sudden it's all snow, or it's all rain and monsoon. But I get the feeling that there's going to be like different weather elements in different like regions. Like up near the mountains, you're going to see more snow. Like in the valley and then like the plains, there probably won't be snow. There'll probably be just like regular weather like sun, rain, etc. So it's going to be interesting to see how the weather plays out in Red Dead Redemption 2. And here's a bank robbery. It looks like a bank robbery to me. You have Arthur Morgan coming in with one of his 6-shooters. And basically, he's telling this one gentleman who's obviously either an employee of the bank or the bank manager, like, ever so kindly, I've come here to make a withdrawal, and if you don't give me what I want, you're going to get some lead poisoning. That's what I'm getting from this vibe here. And obviously, the the bank manager, the teller, whatever he is most likely going to give Arthur Morgan exactly what he wants. This is kind of an interesting shot. So I think this is going to be another character that's going to be important in the story of Red Dead Redemption 2. And he looks Native American, but at the same time, he doesn't look entirely Native American. Like, he could be like half Native American, maybe half African American. So he could be, somebody like that. Not full-blood Native American, but obviously an important character and has some sort of relationship with Arthur Morgan because they're walking together, and he's talking about how Arthur's going to need an extra gun. So Yeah, I think he's going to be an important character in the game of Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, the rumor out there is that we're once again going to have 3 characters to play as, just like in Grand Theft Auto 5. That has not been confirmed in this trailer, and I sincerely hope that that's not going to be the case, because I just want to play as one character. I just want to play as Arthur Morgan. That's who I want to play as. I just want to play as this crazy black hat cowboy outlaw and see how that pans out. But obviously, in order to have a good character, you have to have good supporting characters, and I think this Native American character, whatever his name ends up being, is going to be very important to Arthur Morgan. And then, of course, you see these guys jumping onto a train. So this is during a different time of day. It's during the daytime. It looks like it's raining. There's some cloud overhead, but at the same time the sun's coming out. And obviously it appears to be another train robbery. Or they're just simply just trying to get on the train, and they just, they were late. They were late getting to the station. The train left without them, and so they decided to, bum a ride on the train. And this is a really awesome shot. Obviously, in, I believe, one of the larger towns in Red Dead Redemption 2, because you got so much going on in the background. Obviously, you have Arthur Morgan, putting this guy up against the wall. And he doesn't look very happy with this one gentleman. And if you look at the side, not only does he have like one of his pistols, he also has his knife. And the knife was obviously very important to John Marston in Red Dead Redemption. A lot of it he used for skinning, like various wildlife. By the way, there's a lot of wildlife I saw in the trailer. We'll get to that in a moment. But going back to the town, you see another train. I don't think it's the same train that he robbed. And then, of course, above it, you see what appears to be either a telegraph line, a power line, and then some buildings. And as it goes upwards with more buildings. So this is kind of an interesting... It could be a mining town, similar to Deadwood. So I imagine that what it could be, it's possibly that might be a water tower in the back as well. So it's going to be very cool, not only to explore the wilderness, the various locations of the new map for Red Dead Redemption 2, but also the different towns as well. And hopefully each one has a different size and vibe and feel to it, which doesn't, come across as copy and paste. But this town looks very, very fascinating. And here they're riding at night, going somewhere. I don't know where. I don't want to know. Maybe it's for the best if we don't, right? So they're riding around at night. Obviously the moon is lit out, and this could be leading up to that train robbery. Some of these scenes, could be connected to various scenes that we've already seen in the trailer, and they've just scattered it throughout the trailer. That does happen in trailers, by the way, whether it's video game, movies, or TV shows. So it's a really cool night shot, up close and personal, looking at this beautiful black horse. And I don't know, is it pure black or is it black and white horse that, let's see, Morgan was riding? It might be that horse. I could be mistaken. But it's still a really cool shot of them obviously riding at night. Morgan along with some of his posse. And this is a really sweet looking image. And it could be also from the train heist that we saw earlier. He has a cool like fur coat on. He's got some gloves. He's got his cowboy hat. He's got a mask over his face. And that obviously shows us we're going to have the ability to customize Arthur Morgan, or whatever characters we end up playing as in Red Dead Redemption 2. So you won't have to simply walk around with that standard like brown leather jacket he was wearing a moment ago. I think you're going to be able to customize him and go to the clothing store and buy various outfits and maybe even various hats in order to give Arthur Morgan and possibly the other characters you play as, if Rockstar is going to use the same formula that they used for Grand Theft Auto 5. I don't know yet. It hasn't been confirmed, even though I still personally would prefer one character. But the point is, it seems pretty apparent that we'll be able to have a level of customization when it comes to these characters. And maybe it even ties into the weather. Maybe in order to keep from freezing to death in colder climate, you have to wear something like this whenever you're up in the mountains in the snow. So maybe temperature will be a factor in Red Dead Redemption 2. That's the way it is in the new Zelda game, Breath of the Wild. You have to wear certain clothing whenever it's in colder climate, and you have to wear certain clothing in hotter climate. So maybe we'll have something like that in Red Dead Redemption 2. That'd be kind of cool if temperature actually was a factor. And this is a little fight that's broke out between Arthur Morgan in this one town along with a gentleman. And I don't know exactly who the gentleman is. He could be some random. He could be somebody important. Some people could make the argument that maybe he's a younger Bill Williamson. Maybe, maybe not. But it doesn't look like Arthur Morgan's winning this fight because he's on the ground. And he's kind of sort of getting his ass handed to him. Now, leading up to this scene, Arthur Morgan does say this. This place ain't no such thing as civilized, as he gets into a little scuffle with this guy. And it doesn't look like Arthur's trying to fight him either. It looks like he's just trying to reason with him. So it could be one of those cliche things where these guys are friends. And a while back, Arthur did him wrong, pissed him off, and he's come back to this town. And, you know, he just happens to come across his old friend. And he's like, hey, old friend. And, like, old friend, not so happy with Arthur. So, I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting here from this scene. Obviously, the guys in the background are enjoying this little fight, and they're quite surrounded, you know, and it looks like it might actually be raining in this scene as well. And I think that's a barbershop, so we might be able to even customize not only the clothing for Arthur Morgan, but maybe, you know, like give him a beard, give him a mustache, a goatee, maybe even give him different hairstyles as well. It's a possibility. It's something that we're able to do in Grand Theft Auto 5 with Trevor, Michael, and Franklin to, you know, a limited capacity. So we might be able to do the same thing with Arthur Morgan. Now, this scene's very difficult to see. It takes place at night, and it's obviously in a different part of the map, down in, I would say, a swampy bayou type area, maybe like very reminiscent of South Louisiana. And what's happening in this scene, in case you're wondering, is an alligator has just jumped out of the water and has grabbed, I believe, another animal. So it was probably a deer or something. They got a little too close to the water, and the alligator came up and just nabbed it. And it has dinner, breakfast, whatever it's in the mood for. So, yes, obviously we're going to have a lot of wildlife in Red Dead Redemption 2. This scene also taking place somewhere near that same alligator, and I'm sure these three guys are very fortunate that the alligator grabbed a deer or a pig or whatever he grabbed instead of one of them three. And leading the charge appears to be Arthur Morgan. So you have Arthur Morgan, you have two other guys going in all stealth-like through the swamp, the bayou, heading towards this house in the middle of the swamp. And why are they going there? Obviously, they're not, you know, going for a social call, because they could just probably just show up on their horses and walk in, or show up on a boat and just say, hey guys, how's it going? We've come to play some poker. Obviously, they're not coming in for a friendly visit. Now, this is something that's really cool. Something that a lot of Red Dead Redemption fans have been asking for. And yes, bows and arrows confirmed in Red Dead Redemption 2. So you're going to be able to use bows and arrows for hunting and probably for stealth attacks in Red Dead Redemption 2. So that's something I'm really, really excited about, because obviously we got guns, we got, you know, lever actions, we got, you know, shotties, we got, you know, revolvers, we got sniper rifles, and we're probably gonna have some other melee weapons, just like the Bowie knife, and maybe we'll have some swords too. That'd be kind of cool if we had like a saber. But yes, we can at least confirm that we have bows and arrows in Red Dead Redemption 2, and obviously Arthur Morgan's gone out hunting in the woods. And it looks like he's after, it looks like an elk. Looks like he's trying to take down an elk with his trusty bow and arrow. So that's going to be a lot of fun to see what we're able to do with the bow and arrow in Red Dead Redemption 2. Because I could imagine a lot of us that are going to be playing Red Dead Redemption 2, we're just going to go in bow and arrow and just snipe kill all the fools we go up against. It's going to be freaking awesome. Bear Wars have returned to Red Dead Redemption. Yep, bears! There will be bears. That was one of the things I loved doing. Was, I don't know why, I was just getting on a horse with John Marston riding around Red Dead Redemption and go in the woods where the bears are and tall trees, and I would just fight them because they just keep spawning. Like, there'd be like one bear, two bears, three bears just coming after you, trying to murder your horse and maul you to death. And hopefully we'll be able to do the same thing in Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously not in real life. That would suck. But video games, right? So this bear obviously looks very, very ferocious, but it also has been injured. It has this big giant scar on it. So maybe this is like a legendary bear that roams around these parts, and obviously in a river, because bears like to fish in river for salmon and trout and whatever they find that happens to be a fish. They don't really discriminate. If it's a fish, they're going to grab it and they're going to eat it, or a person, or anything else they can get their claws on. It's a very beautiful shot. You got the water droplets on the screen. You got trees. You got mountains once again. You got some rocks, which the bears like to sit on and perch. So it'd be kind of cool to watch bears do that in the game. So this could be a unique bear. It could be a bear that was injured previously by someone else. Or maybe you injured the bear and maybe it just shows the scars from you trying to kill the bear from a distance. But it looks more like a melee attack on the bear. Like someone tried to attack it with an axe or a sword and most likely lost that fight. Now here's another character that we're introduced to. We don't know her name, just like we don't know the Native American character's name. But she, once again, is going to be a very important character in Red Dead Redemption 2. Whether or not she's just a secondary character, a friend, an ally of Arthur Morgan, or perhaps one of the three rumored characters we'll get to play as. She doesn't look like she's a very friendly person, though. She looks like she doesn't take shit from anybody. So she runs this knife through this poor fellow inside this saloon. Now, some people may make the argument that this could be Bill Williamson. I don't know if it is or not. I mean, obviously, Bill Williamson is going to look a lot younger in Red Dead Redemption 2 than in Red Dead Redemption. It's kind of weird, I know. Red Dead Redemption 2, a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. It's crazy. But it's possible this could be a younger Bill Williamson. And I can imagine Bill Williamson saying something or doing something to piss this girl off. And the result is, she stabs him right in his hand over the ordeal. Or this is just some random NPC that gets on her bad side. And here's another really good shot of this female character. And I'm guessing that she's going to give this bit of dialogue to Arthur Morgan. This is what she says in the trailer. "You're the only one of these fools that I trust." And by the way, I double-checked the closed captioning. And it said, "You're the only one of these foods that I trust." So I can't really rely on the closed captioning for the trailer. So I think she said fools instead of foods. I guess closed caption has still a ways to go before it actually works properly. But anyway, so I think, yes, she's going to be another important character in Red Dead Redemption 2, part of your posse. And if she is one of these three characters that you'll be able to switch between, like between Arthur, maybe the Native American character, maybe her, then hopefully each one brings something to the table. But like I've been saying, I just want to play as one character. Or maybe, just maybe, another theory, another idea is maybe you can pick between the three, which I seriously doubt. I think it's either going to be just focused solely on you playing as Arthur Morgan, or you'll be able to switch between, her and the Native American character. But just remember one thing, in Red Dead Revolver, you didn't always play as Red Harlow. There were, missions where you played different characters. So it's possible that even though Red Dead Redemption and Red Dead Redemption 2 are considered to be spiritual successors to Red Dead Revolver, maybe it'll be the same thing that applies to Red Dead Redemption 2, where there's just some missions where you play as her, and there's some missions where you play as the Native American character. So I guess we'll find out. Hopefully more information will be coming in the next few weeks and months ahead. And here's the scene back at the train where the two guys, obviously one of them, Arthur Morgan, jumped onto the train because I guess, they were late. And this one guy nearly fell off the train, and Arthur is lifting him up, pulling him up, and so he doesn't, fall and break a leg or break his neck. So obviously these two have some sort of friendship going on. And another character that might be important to the story and potentially a member, obviously, of his posse. And once again, the ability to break horses is back. We're going to have the rope. Yep, throw that rope around the horse, jump on the horse, do what we had to do in Red Dead Redemption. The more difficult horses took a lot longer for us to break in. But once we did, we had the ability to use the horses. And I think it'll probably be the same thing for Red Dead Redemption 2. What would be really cool is not only can we break in horses, but maybe we even have the ability to sell horses. We go out to the wild to make extra money. You find the best breeds out there. You break them in, and you can either keep them or you can sell them for some bucks, for some gold back in town. And you see that there's what appears to be kind of a mansion or a plantation in the background. So it's going to be kind of cool to explore that as well. And it's possible that the same mansion plantation might come up near the end of the trailer. It looks really cool. Nice, lovely day here in Red Dead Redemption 2. Just another day in the West, just trying to rope a horse. And just like in Red Dead Redemption, we'll most likely be able to use that rope for other things besides roping horses, if you catch my drift. And this scene is more dialogue from Arthur Morgan. He asked this guy a question, "Where's our money?" So yes, this guy apparently owes Arthur and Dutch's gang some money, some cash. And see, Arthur's not too happy about it. He wants the money. But it's a really cool shot. The guy's very intimidated by Arthur. And it's cool to see the sunlight coming over some of their faces on the back of the neck of this guy, over part of the face of Arthur, whereas some of the face is shadowed by his cap, and the rest of his face could be shadowed by trees or something else entirely. It's just a really cool shot to see shadowing in the sun and lighting in this scene. Plus, we have really good detail of Arthur's clothing. You see the fact that there's some wear and tear on the clothing as well, some wrinkling, and that looks really good. The same thing goes for his cowboy hat as well. I just love the detail. It's the little things that I love about Rockstar Games. Now this scene kind of reminds me of Mafia 3 with Lincoln Clay. Obviously I'm a fan of Mafia as well as Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto, and it looks like one of these stealth attacks taking place that you're going to be able to do as Arthur Morgan. Sneak up behind somebody, a guard or a sentinel, a watchman, and just, silent kill him with that big, giant, honking Bowie knife, just murder his ass. So that's probably a stealth attack that Arthur Morgan's carrying out. And it looks like, once again, it's transpiring down, I think, in the swamp. It looks like a swamp area. So we've seen several different regions in this trailer that we're going to obviously be able to explore when it comes to Red Dead Redemption 2. Now this scene is really cool. You have him with the mask on. He has a rifle. And you see some safety boxes being blown open. Like one to the left, and there's going to be one to the right as well. So he sets some charges, blowing up the safety boxes, either to get something out or maybe destroy the contents of what might be inside the boxes. So it'll be interesting to see how this bank heist transpires, and you'll obviously have the ability, just like in Red Dead Redemption, to you either put the mask on or take the mask off. And he has a different jacket on this time, which obviously shows that we're going to have a bit more customization. Looks like either a duster or a trench coat. I'm guessing that's a duster. So if you don't want to wear that brown leather jacket he was wearing earlier, you could just put on a duster, or you could just wear whatever the hell you want to wear, depending on how you feel you'd like to customize Arthur Morgan. Now this is cool. Dual wielding. Now we knew about this a few months ago from some of the screenshots that was teased by Rockstar. We're going to have the ability to dual wield pistols. And I absolutely love that ability. I think it's going to be fascinating to see how it transpires, how it works in Red Dead Redemption 2. Is it just going to mean like double the firepower on one character that we're shooting at? Are we going to have the ability to shoot at two people at the same time? Is there going to be the ability to do Deadeye, and we're going to have more Deadeye options, or you can Deadeye like twice as many people when you're dual wielding, because you're going to be able to shoot up to 12 rounds as opposed to 6 rounds. It'll be cool to see how dual wielding works out in Red Dead Redemption 2. But I am still excited about the idea of getting dual wielding abilities in Red Dead Redemption 2. I think it's something that we've been asking for, just like with bow and arrows. Now this poor guy is about to meet the butt of Arthur Morgan's rifle on a rainy night near his home. So this is the last thing that this guy's probably going to see before his head is smashed in by the butt of Arthur Morgan's rifle. So obviously another ability we'll have is the ability just to murder somebody with the butt of our rifles. It's something we've already had in Grand Theft Auto, and I think we had that ability in Red Dead Redemption, if I remember. So it's nothing new. It still looks cool, though, to see that ability just to smack him down and take him out that way. And here he is, the man himself, Dutch van der Linde. Obviously, he looks a lot more cleaned up, a little younger, a bit more sane than we see him in Red Dead Redemption. And, of course, John Marston talked a great deal about Dutch from back in the day in Red Dead Redemption. How he was a different person, how he was more of an idealist, how he was more like Robin Hood, robbing from, the wealthy and, actually trying to help people. It's going to be interesting to see if that is this kind of Dutch that John Marston actually remembers. Or was Dutch always a certifiable scumbag, psychopath? So obviously he's the leader of the Vanderlyn gang because, well, it's Dutch. It's cool to see that we have at least one character that we're going to be interacting with in Red Dead Redemption 2 that we're already aware of from Red Dead Redemption. And he looks like he's doing quite well for himself. He has a nice vest. The buttons look very polished. He has a nice looking velvet handkerchief, a nice shirt. He's groomed. So it looks like, Dutch is doing quite well for himself being head of an outlaw gang. Then he has a little bit of dialogue with Arthur. He asks Arthur, "Do you have my back?" Now, once again, the captions say bag. So he either says, "Do you have my back?" as in, can I depend on you? Can I rely on you, Arthur? Or do you have my bag? As in, do you have my money? It could be either or. I mean, it sounds like he says bag, but then sometimes it sounds like back. So either way, it could be one or the other. It seems a lot more plausible to be back or bag than with the female character about fools versus foods. So I don't know. But anyways, obviously he's talking to Arthur Morgan, who answers to Dutch Vanderlyn. Now, this is a very interesting scene. I think this is the same mansion or plantation we saw earlier. And, it had a little bit of a fire issue. It's kind of sort of burning to the ground. And to the right is Arthur Morgan once again. It's the same outfit he was wearing earlier, and it's the same outfit we'll see in just a second. And to the left is Bill Williamson. The beard. The hat. It's him. A younger Bill Williamson. In the middle. Who is this gentleman in the middle? Could it be a younger John Marston? Maybe new to the gang. Maybe he's a greenhorn. Maybe this is one of the first things he's doing with the gang. Or maybe he's, the victim here. Maybe he's the former homeowner of this mansion. Maybe it's not John Marston. Maybe it's a completely different character. Maybe we're speculating. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. The hat looks somewhat similar to John Marston's hat. But then again, he could be the same character we came across earlier that was being threatened by Arthur. So we don't know. We don't know if any of the characters we've seen in the trailer so far is or is not a younger version of John Marston. I would like to believe that we're going to get a younger John Marston in Red Dead Redemption 2, but at the moment, nothing is officially confirmed. Just more theories and speculation. And of course, another up-close shot between Dutch and Arthur Morgan. And Arthur Morgan says, "Always Dutch." And I think that his response to what Dutch says means the dialogue goes down like this. Dutch says, "In my opinion, do you have my back?" And then Arthur Morgan says, "Always Dutch," which makes more sense than, do you have my back? But once again, it's just a small thing. But anyways, this was an absolutely beautiful trailer, and it's made me even more hyped for Red Dead Redemption 2. One final scene, of course, is you have Arthur Morgan riding on his horse in the middle of the night with his 6-shooter drawn. He puts the gun towards the camera, pulls the trigger, and boom, Red Dead Redemption 2 coming spring 2018. And I'm just as excited for Red Dead Redemption 2 as I was a year ago. Well, just about a year ago when the first trailer came out. It sucks that we are not getting Red Dead Redemption 2 this fall as originally planned, but at the same time, I prefer it when developers take the time to fix any issues that the game may have. And if it's a delay by a few months, I'm fine with it as long as they get those issues resolved. And once the game does come out, we have as little bugs, issues, or glitches as possible, and we get as polished of a game as we can whenever the game finally does go gold. So the game is still scheduled for spring 2018. Final thoughts is I was kind of hoping for a few things. An official release date. I would have liked there to have been an official release date. I get the feeling we're probably going to get it near the end of spring, probably sometime in May, which is around the same time that Red Dead Redemption came out. It came out in May, many, many years ago. So look for probably May 2018, if not sooner. Sooner the better, in my opinion. I would not mind it coming out as soon as possible. But that's what I think we're going to probably get it probably May 2018. We did not get an official setting of the timeline for Red Dead Redemption 2. Obviously, it's a prequel to Red Dead Redemption. It's set somewhere in the late 1800s, so I imagine it's either the 1880s or the maybe the 1890s, somewhere in that ballpark. But like I said, you know, if more information that comes out, more videos, more knowledge that we're going to get in the next coming months, we're going to get more information about Red Dead Redemption 2. We're going to find out more. A lot other things will be confirmed as the release approaches in spring 2018. But anyways, once again, let me know your thoughts, your views, your opinions regarding the second trailer for Red Dead Redemption 2 below in the comments section. And once there's more information that comes out by Rockstar regarding Red Dead Redemption 2, via trailer, via articles, I will definitely be covering it on the channel. We're only going to talk about confirmed information, though. So we can speculate a little bit when it comes to trailer breakdowns and maybe even discuss videos. But for the most part, I like to focus on confirmed information. What we do know, not what is out there in the rumor mills and around the water cooler and what may or may not be true. I try to avoid that because a lot of times that doesn't turn out to be true. Sometimes it does, but not always. But overall, I really enjoyed this trailer. I watched it several times, even after doing the screenshots, because it was just so beautiful. And I'm really, really excited for spring 2018 to get here. It can't get here soon enough. Even though I'm a big fan of the fall, I'm looking forward to October and Halloween because temperatures getting cooler. It's my favorite time of year, but at the same time, I really, really want to get my hands on Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm ready to put on my cowboy hat and my duster and my 6-shooter and get back on my horse and ride off into Red Dead Redemption 2, coming spring 2018 to Xbox One and PlayStation 4.